Full screens now.
Okay, it's 6:30, call the meeting to order, have a quorum present, and then, as time, first item would be to approve the minutes of the December 10th meeting. We covered that last time, so the motion regarding the December 10th.
It just so everybody knows, I did send it out for review. I incorporated very few comments I incorporated in, so it is updated to reflect those comments.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December the 10th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Good. Next would be the minutes of the January 7th meeting. Thank you, Corey, for jumping in and volunteering
Yes.
to take the minutes for us. Is there a motion in regard to the minutes? They came out by email this afternoon, and then Corey has given us a hard copy here today. If we can get a motion on the table, then we can,
I will move that we accept the January 7th meeting minutes.
is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, I have a few things.
Yeah, I sent this out late, so.
Okay. All right,
definitely.
let's walk through it. In the first bullet in public safety presentation,
Yeah.
third line, that should be spreadsheet rather than spreadsheet. In the, okay. Third bullet, you've already in the hard copy corrected panel generator to panel. Okay, there should be something in there. It says where it says generator will be handled through maintenance and operating budgets.
Mhm.
We need something that says as the replacement cost of the generator is less than the capital threshold, comma, rather than the capital plan. And I left out a comma at the beginning of that little piece. In the inflation analysis review, first bullet, the inflation analysis, I think those two should be capitalized. That's the name of the tab. And then in the next to the last line in the same bullet, I would scratch the word spreadsheet and insert the word tab, because we're talking about the tab at that point. In the capital asset planning, let's see, no, the third bullet under spreadsheet review and subcommittee discussion, 1, 2, 3. The next to the last sentence where it says committee review any copy of the spread, it should be spreadsheet. Okay, and then if we go down under old business, we had none, which is, and then we had other motions. And that wasn't on the agenda, so I don't, was it? I didn't look back at the old agenda, but I didn't think there was an agenda item, other motions.
Oh, I was directly copying from Kyler's like actual format, so I just.
So that was your
That
mistake.
was just like me copying things over and not
Okay.
like.
Okay, so.
All right. Yeah, so there was no other motions
There
on,
was yeah, that was
Okay,
just me. That's just me.
I think we can delete that, not a problem. And then there was one other thing, back up at members not present. Kyler was not present, but he was excused, so you might want to just put like a comma excused, because I did remember, or when I got home, I saw that he had sent an email saying that he was not feeling well and would not be here. So,
Thank you. I will make those adjustments and. send
okay, so those adjustments or amendments to the draft submitted would be included as part of the motion.
Well, you misspelled Becky Taylor Chase in other items, actually.
Where is that? All
Under
other.
other items,
What?
under other items,
Under-
yeah.
Yes, you did.
Take lower.
Oh my gosh, I did. So sorry.
He answers to anything but.
Thank you, Jan Peter.
You're welcome.
So a motion on the, is on the table to approve the minutes with those adjustments. All in favor? Okay. Thank you again for doing that. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy for the feedback.
Okay, let's go back here.
You done good.
Okay. Next item on the agenda would be public comment. We have no public present unless you want to be public.
No, I can speak at the select board.
Okay, so next item would be select board input. Becky, would you like to speak on behalf of the select board?
Yes, thank you. Becky Taylor, Chase Town Administrator. You had sent a request to go before the select board to remove the refurbish of engine 2.
Yes.
That was addressed last night, and the select board did approve removing that from the capital asset. I did not get a chance to email you today on
Okay.
that, but while I'm here, I figured I could report it out to the committee as a
Great.
whole.
Well, thank you for that update. We'll have to figure out what we do there. Okay. The next item would be new business. We're going to hear presentations on Mallet Hall and Public Works tonight. So first up would be Becky Taylor Chase, panel administrator on the Mallet Hall presentation. So Becky, you can join us at the table if you'd like, if that would be more convenient.
I have created a document with larger font just for myself.
Did it for all of us too.
See the leaders on my head.
In case you haven't
I think
noticed,
my-
none of us are getting any younger.
I think I got two.
You?
Thank you.
All right, you'll need to walk me through a little bit. Do you want me to just kind of start about current replacement costs? Do you have some initial questions? Just, tell me your procedure here.
I think if it's okay with you, just start at the top
Sounds
and
good.
follow that down and we'll talk about the replacement cost,
Okay,
service life, and then any questions we have on
okay.
anything.
A couple of things too. I noticed the in-service year was incorrect on this sheet. So on this sheet, I made that change and we can talk about that.
Highlight that for us when you,
Sure.
so that we can pick it up.
Perfect. Okay, so the elevator, that was remodernized in 2023, done with grant funds. We expect a 25-year service life on that. The original elevator was put in about, 2001, so that seems to track with that expectation. I have talked with Casco Bay Elevator, and currently to do that same work in this year, we're looking at $78,752. My sheet doesn't have every column that your bigger
Right.
one has, but I just wanted to have this information a little easier for me to look at.
So on the elevator, when we talk about elevator, is there a list of components that we're talking about? I mean, that doesn't include replacing the car, right?
Correct. This is
Just
the
the
software
software.
modernization, the floor indicators, buttons, kind of those operational pieces. If something in the elevator shaft were to go or the car cage itself, that is not in this. So that's probably something we're gonna have to find out what that is.
No.
This is based on the modernization right now that was done 2 years ago, that replacement cost.
So are you looking then to find out, is the car, is other things in the shaft? I mean, is that a depreciable asset that should be looked at for use, for service life that we should include here? Is that just something that elevators live, it's just a shaft and they live forever?
Well, I think at some point, they're probably going to have wear and
Mhm.
maintenance requirements. What that looks like, I don't know. We do have quarterly inspections of it. So when he was just here, so when he comes again in 3 months, that could be a conversation I have with him. So I can come back with more information there to say, what is the expectation of the car and the shaft and the chains, whatever, moves that, I don't know.
Was any of that, none of that was ever replaced, was it?
It's all original. Some things in the modernization was done. So like the floor indicator light inside was done, some of the buttons were done. There was a little bit of hardware updates to take the new modernization, so the computerizing that had to happen. But as far as the car went and any major components, no, it wasn't.
Should we change the description on this? Because it says elevator and sensors. Like when I see elevator, I think,
Well, that's kind of where I was going with my question, because I was thinking the whole elevator, and then I remember we only did
Yeah,
like the
right.
technology piece of the
I mean,
elevator.
And the
this
year,
past year, we were only basing it, the 73.6 was only based on the refurbished.
and seeing the year in service of 2023, that's when we did the
Yeah.
refurbish. So that's what I went off from on the
Yeah.
spreadsheet, but we probably should look at a bigger whole.
Right, so I would say if you could, when you have that next visit, think in terms of, and the way I like to do it, if I were in a, not a governmental entity, but a private company, I'd be looking at what's my depreciable asset?
Mhm.
And how do I evaluate the service life of that? Now, I know we don't depreciate assets the same way as a private company would, but that's kind of what that's for. And I don't know whether your town accounting gives you a section of depreciation, even though you don't use it. I know the school district, when we had our own, they were required to do that type of accounting kind of next to the real books.
Mhm.
It was a required thing, but it was a good way to look at, are we investing capital back into the assets fast enough to replace them before they suddenly die on us?
Mhm.
So anyway, if you could just have that conversation and then let us know, because it may be,
Absolutely.
if we're missing a big piece,
Right.
we won't figure that out now.
Right, and does that become an operating cost because it's wear and tear? On the elevator, or is it like these things have a life expectancy of the car itself?
Well, if it's
That's the
maintenance,
question.
if it's regular maintenance, it's an operating.
It's an operation,
But-
so the car, like, does that eventually just sort of
Yeah.
not have?
But maybe you should look at it as like, in comparison, you can compare it to a fire truck, because there are different components on it. And the
Yeah.
electrical stuff can break down, but the car can break down totally different. But if the car breaks down and really breaks down and you have to replace it, you have a good chance that you may have to replace the whole thing.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's the box that you all stand in and ride up and down in, and then there's the sensors and technology that we
Right.
refurbished in 2023. Are they two separate assets items on your schedule that we should be looking at? And, or do you hand the box, is that just an operating cost that, as the floor panels wear out, the ceiling panels wear out, you just
Right.
maintain them?
I mean, I think they could be considered too, because the box itself has been in service since 2001, 2002.
Right.
The refurbish and modernization just happened just about 3 years ago now. So they're really two different pieces. So finding out what the life of an elevator box, I think, is
a
probably
long
important to this.
Right, I know it's,
Could be a long time,
I'm
right.
just thinking of some of the buildings in Portland that I've been in that are older buildings, and I've ridden the elevators. The box that I was riding in seemed like it was even older than the building, so, yeah.
And they could be built to last, like.
Right, I
that
mean,
too.
'cause some of those go
Like,
side to side as well as up and down, and while you're riding it.
Exactly.
So it's something I'm not,
I can have a conversation with the owner when he comes and does the next inspection.
I just
And get
didn't-
some more information there. Yep.
All right. Do you want me to update the cost as we're going through?
yeah, are there any other questions, or if there are no challenges to what is being offered, then we'll update the plan as we go. Next item is generator.
Generator, year in service 2016. I did some digging in the file and found the original service contract of when it was purchased. And I think your sheet had 28, no, it did have 2016. Okay, good. So those align up. Year in service is 20 years, so that would effectively put us halfway through. I spent a great deal of time trying to get in touch with Kohler to get a price on a current replacement cost, to no avail getting a call back. So using the serial numbers, I did some research through their website and found a current replacement cost for a similar generator. They don't make the exact one anymore at $6,800. Now, on your sheet, we have, let's see, current 9,500, but that could have been going from the original installation, which could have included the pad and components to hook it up into the piping and electronics, which if we were to replace it, some of those things wouldn't need to be done. Therefore, it would change the replacement cost.
There would still be a labor cost. for-
There would still be labor costs too. This is just if I had to buy a generator today to replace the one sitting out there, we're roughly around $6,800 for a similar version.
Plus labor?
But then labor would need to be figured out. We recently had some generators installed at two different locations in the last year, and they were between 10 and 12,000 for the work. But that included the initial pad too, which it wasn't itemized out to be able to break that piece out.
And it included the transfer switches.
Correct.
So-
Which we wouldn't need unless they needed to be replaced.
Right.
So this is sort of in the essence, really going down to just that generator component if I had to replace that right now. That's what that cost is. Labor is hard to judge because everybody's all over the place in their rates and we don't know how long it would take for replacement.
From experience, about 2 hours.
Okay.
Oh, should we round that up?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd call it 7,000.
7,000?
I
Yeah,
don't think that's enough. I mean, it's gonna cost you $1,000 just to get anybody to look at it, you know, I mean. Even if it's simple swap out.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you. I don't, it may take a couple hours to do it, but you've got more. You gotta remove the old, put the new in, and then you've gotta do the electrical work to hook it back up, test it, that type of thing.
I'd be more comfortable just leaving it as is, at 9,500.
At 9,500?
Juicing it.
Well, there could be a disposal fee too of the old one,
Yeah.
which we don't know either.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of unknowns. Like, this is what, if I had to go on and order one,
Yeah.
that's the cost, but then there's the unknowns of when you're swapping it out too.
What if we, I mean, Teresa makes a good point. Rather than undershooting the target, leave it where it is. And maybe it's something that we can learn more about. I mean, if Chief Peters would hear, he would remind us all that this does not meet the threshold for a capital project as he did last month when he was here. This one's kind of been stuck on this list for a long time, so we won't address that right now. So, but I would like to think that if we leave it where it is, agree that we've got a good 6,800 base plus something to that to actually make the swap out of, and we're just talking about the engine and generator itself.
Correct.
Transfer switch, the base, those would all be pieces of that asset that stay there for the next generator.
Mhm.
So I think Teresa's got a good point. Let's leave it where it is until we know better and overshoot it just a little rather than undershoot it. And we'll find out.
I would, if I was gonna get a price for this, I would just go with a generator company
Well, yes.
and ask them, generator, labor, haul away fee for the old one, what are we looking at?
Hmm.
If I was gonna get a firm price.
Right, what's the size of this generator? What's
See,
the
20 kilowatts.
20 kilowatt?
20 kilowatt. And it's a natural gas. It's actually multi-fuel, but this one is running off natural gas. But
Okay.
a lot of them come where they're either propane, natural gas, diesel, natural gas. They have the option of both.
Right.
So.
Hmm.
And I think the amp output is like 83. I read all the specs
Hmm.
like again today. They're kind of fresh.
More than you wanted to know, right?
I have the original manual for it, actually.
Right, so is there any objection to just leaving that replacement cost where it is? Given this discussion for
The
the,
wisest option at this point.
right, and then, okay.
Historically, nothing else has gone down, so.
Okay, next is,
AV equipment, so that was in service in 2023. I think your spreadsheet says 2024. It was done do I have that? Yeah, your spreadsheet says 2024, but it was actually online, in October of 2023 and installed late in the summer of that year. So originally, as you can see, there's a new screen behind us. We had contacted the company to find out what it would cost to add a second screen. They told us 10,000. We did this for less than $1,000, adding this screen. I did contact Headlight Audio that did the original installation, and their increase because of tariffs has been a little bit higher. So if we were to replace the original system, it's really minus this $1,000 because this is brand new. It would cost us 50,000 this year to put in the same system, where 2 years ago, it cost us 42,345. So they've had about an 18% increase in their cost, and he said tariffs were really driving those up right now. So if you wanted to add and say 51 to kind of include, but that also includes some of the plugins
Well,
over here to run this shared
let's go
screen.
back. I mean, those are just TVs.
They're just TVs.
They're not gonna last 20 years.
No, they're not.
You'll probably chase them once or twice between now and
Yeah.
then. So is the unit of property we're talking about, the black box back there, the brains of this?
That included the TV originally. That was part of that original price. Because that was all supplied by them in the original install, included that large TV, the brains, and all of this.
But if you have to replace a TV, it just a maintenance piece, wouldn't it?
I would agree with that.
I mean,
I found a deal for about $500 for this TV
Right.
and they were gonna charge me 10,000, so.
So would it, would it be better then to look at the unit of property we're talking about, that we want to classify as a capital asset at Mallett Hall? Is it everything, or is it just the black box that runs and the pieces like the TVs? You're gonna, before you replace that, if it's a 20-year life, you're gonna have 3 TVs
Mhm.
between now and then. So,
Yep.
so that kind of is a different type of asset, different type of life on it. Should we be just looking at capturing that in the brain? Now, the other question is, if that's what we're capturing, is that technology really going to be here 20 years from now? Or is that too long a life? I mean, it's technology.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the other factor is, I mean, everything, like the microphones. like-
Yeah, it's all of
This is
this.
not gonna all last 20 years, like this one could break.
that only, well, you can keep, hang on to that thing as long as it works.
As long as it's
It doesn't
working,
matter
right.
if it's an old fashioned piece in 20 years, if it's still working and if it's still doing what it does now.
Right.
And personally, I wouldn't see any reason to replace it unless all of a sudden you have to all kinds of small pieces, and then you get into some.
Yeah, I mean, as people talk with their hands like this and microphones go flying, these will get replaced more often through the maintenance budget.
Mhm.
But yeah, if that keeps working and meeting our needs, we could go a long time.
I would think.
But I just don't know. And with technology, it could be,
Well, that raises a question that I don't have an answer for. But I know in other areas, old technology gets to the point where it's no longer supported by
Mhm.
new, hardware. As it were.
right.
I don't know if that's the case here.
I mean, if the TV's not supported, we'll just go buy another TV for $500 or $1,000. But if that black box, if you can't get parts for it, if it goes down,
Is no longer supported, then you're stuck.
you're cooked there.
Without a paddle.
Then you're needing to upgrade to whatever the latest technology is, and we don't know what that is. I mean, remember the days of floppy disks? You know, we were all saving stuff to
Oh,
floppy
I still
disks.
wish I could install.
So I now move these recordings onto thumb drives, but in 100 years, is there going to be anything that reads those thumb drives when
Mhm.
someone's down in the vault, 100 years from now going, what's this?
I'm
You know,
not gonna be around.
Yeah,
Right.
no, like, so, we don't know, what 20 years looks like for that. I have seen some systems in other towns that look to be a good 25 years old and still running on where we are in today's world. So my hopes is,
I think that would be my point, that, I mean, I just replaced my computer at home last year, but the other one that I still have and still use, because there's some pieces on it that I can't put on the new computer because it's not maintained anymore. That computer was 15 years old and it's still working. So, I mean, sort of working. Well, it has Windows 7 on it.
Right.
Wait, he said.
Yeah.
Or a Radio Shack.
But
So to kind of summarize where we are, then what we had in the plan before would be about a $50,000 replacement cost. And that's everything, right?
Mhm.
Except for that. TV.
Except for this, yeah.
So let's for the moment leave the TV out because
Mhm.
that's just an operating budget item.
I agree.
Can we leave it at the 50,000? And then let's do some more deep thinking about what is really the asset we're trying to define, the capital asset that we're trying to make plans for? Because it's not this thing.
Mhm.
And Andy has a question.
Well, I have more of a comment than a question. I think maybe talking to Headlight, it might be reasonable to ask them, how often should we be looking for possible software upgrades for this stuff? That might be a more reasonable way to approach it, I think. Because there's gonna be new technology coming faster than we can keep up with it, but.
Well, you might, if you do that, you might also ask the question, if we had to replace our system, what would we be replacing? That would be the core asset, not the microphones, not the TVs. You've already paid for the wiring, the infrastructure in the walls,
Mhm.
type of thing. So it's just, if that box blows up, I mean, it's going to take a lot less effort on their part to come replace that box because you get all the wiring in, you know what you're going to. So is there a piece that we should be looking at that maybe is less than the whole thing? And the rest is just microphones break, they fall apart, they stop working, we replace a microphone. It costs $100, I don't know. Costs $500 for a TV. So we would not use that as the capital asset we're trying to protect. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So with that in mind, part of your homework before we talk to you again about this would be to kind of investigate what are we really trying to protect as an asset inside of Mallet Hall that's separate from the hall.
Okay.
Okay? And we'll go with the $50,000 for now. And when we hear back from you, whether it's next week or next year, we'll look at kind of updating that. We'll have a better idea of what really encompasses.
What's the official name of the black box in the back of the room?
Right, yeah.
That's what we need to put on the spreadsheet.
I might be able to find that maybe from the original, what they call that.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know,
well, would they, like what Andy suggested, makes sense, that they would be able to tell you
Mhm.
the company, the light, whatever the name.
And the way I would look at it, what's the depreciable item that we're going to, like, might be that, you know, somebody might look at it and say, well, if I were depreciating it, I would depreciate, it would be a whole setup, including the mics and TVs. And maybe that's the way you have to do it. Or it could be, you're going to replace these so many times before you get to replacing that. We're just going to identify that piece.
I think that goes back to Andy's comment of just finding out how long do you think before new technology could make that obsolete? So if they think, oh, this is gonna last you 25 years, then to me, that's the piece, because these are probably gonna have replacement. But then if they think, well, in 6 more years, technology is gonna make that obsolete, and even these are gonna have a new plug-in and you're gonna have to replace it, then you look at the whole system. So I think it really rests on how long do we think that technology is going to be supported? And it could be 40 years the way it's set up, or it could be 14. We don't know that.
Yeah, but I think we need a reasonable person to give us a reasonable life on that so that you get to the 20 years and as Jan Peter says, it's still working fine. It meets the needs of the town. Well, let's go another 20.
Yep.
We can do that. But
Mhm.
if we get to the 20 years and we can't go anymore, doesn't serve the town, then all right, we're ready to replace it.
Right.
I'm updating the year in service to 2023.
You said that's when it actually went into service?
First meeting that was recorded was in October of 2023. It was done the same year as the
Really
elevator. It was all part of the same grant.
That was the 2024 budget year.
Yeah, it was 2024, but these are the year in service when it came
Oh,
along.
fiscal year in service.
So you go fiscal year in
Yeah.
service. Okay, so it would have been fiscal year 24.
Okay.
But it was in, so when I see in service, my literal is it was in service in 2023. So
Yeah,
that was,
everything we do is fiscal year.
gotcha,
So going, same question on the elevator, which fiscal year?
24. No, that modernization was done in March of 2023. So that would have been fiscal year 2023.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that was done in March and then this was done in the summer as part of the same grant.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right.
In June would have been that
Got it.
change. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, the boiler down in the basement, that was fiscal year 2024. Service Life 20, I talked with the ABG who put that in and the replacement cost for the boiler downstairs is 22,890. Current cost if I had to replace that boiler. Yep.
Any questions on the boiler?
Ouch.
Again, I think tariffs play a little bit of part in their inflation rates and labor costs going up.
Parking lot, this is another interesting.
Oh, yes, parking lot. Okay, so parking lot was done in 2022. We hope 50 years, maybe longer. So I had to go back and pull the invoices back when we did that and kind of get tonnage of tar used and what the cost was back then. And then I made some calls to find out how much tar costs now. It has a 27% increase since that year. So currently, if they had to come back and redo it from ground zero, again, because they had to take the first coat and the second coat out, we are looking at $91,694 for the Mallet Hall parking.
Well,
That is still so I went with the highest per ton rate, which was Crooker, and that was their 2024 price. They haven't come out with their 2025 prices yet. Yeah, well, this is enough to get us closer to where we need to be.
And that's just the cost of materials rather than, the labor isn't involved in that, is it?
There would be some labor there, yeah. This
But
is
labor
material,
costs went
yeah.
up as well.
That's the
I'm pretty
material
much
cost.
gonna guarantee that isn't gonna last 50 years.
Nice.
Yeah, that raises some big questions regarding how you plan this, because, I mean, typically, it is not at all uncommon to just strip off the top coat and then redo it, and that is the cheapest way to get, the most parking lot onto the other paved surface. And I understand why you're talking about complete replacement cost, because that's the mindset, but that is not usually the way it works.
Mhm.
But it would also be replaced, that top coat would come off prior to 50 years, I would imagine.
Yes.
If you get 25 out of it, you're doing really
You're doing real well.
So the invoices I pulled for the base coat and the top coat, they were basically the same amount, 36,000 for the base coat, 36,000 for the top coat. So if you look at that scenario, you divide that by half, you're
And that's assuming,
assuming.
that's assuming that you're, well, we're talking base, base coat, which is normally called binder. And then your top coat, and I make that distinction because that's assuming that the base itself is okay, that it doesn't need additional work.
Correct.
But, yeah, I don't know how you factor all that.
So from the standpoint of planning, what's the capital asset that we're planning for?
This is not an,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that asset is the proper way to look at it.
I think it's a liability.
You could assign that term to many of our so-called assets.
I'm not sure that you can, that it's, that you should think about it as an asset. I think you should think about it as a maintenance item that takes place every 10 years. I'm making this up, but as a maintenance item that occurs on a regular basis, but that regular basis is certainly not yearly. I mean,
Right.
So you're saying this is a maintenance item and not a capital item?
yeah. Well, you're always going to these gray areas, and you're probably far better at that than I am. All I'm, but in terms of, this is a maintenance issue, really. How do you, the only way, if you think of it as an asset, then the only way to maximize that asset is to maintain it regularly.
Well, okay, then putting it that, would you think of it like the roof on this building? That it has a different life than the building.
That's correct, yes.
And periodically through the life of the building, you'll need to replace the roof.
Every 20 years or whatever.
Right, and it's not uncommon to replace a roof and capitalize that cost. So should we look at the parking lot as, and maybe you go to the top coat is like the roof on the building, the base coat, the binder is really the foundation of the parking lot. And as long as that is sound, it's the top coat, the coat that wears out because you're driving on it, that you'll periodically, maybe every 15, 20 years, replace that. And that's the capital item we're really talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first real discussion we've had on this item since it was, so go ahead, Andy.
I think, not knowing in 20 years or 25 years, what the bases are gonna be like, we should go with the full replacement cost. And if we spend less than that, we take it as a bonus.
All right, I mean, that's the other side of this coin, because originally when it went in here, the idea was, at what point, that's where the 50 years came from, is at what point do we have to totally rebuild the parking lot? Because the asset has used up its useful life. So the top coat is worn out, the base is no longer good for a parking lot, particularly at that time, the kind of equipment we run across it. And we'd ask that question back then, are we building it as a car parking lot, or are we building it as something where we run?
But that's not generally how it happens, because a parking lot starts breaking down, you're gonna replace it bit by bit. I mean, you're gonna fix the place where most of the trucks are running and the place that breaks down the first. That may be 10 or 15 years before the rest breaks down.
Right, you'll do maintenance on the spots that
Well, not maintenance, but even major replacement. portions.
major repairs of.
But if you do major repairs on one spot, then all of a sudden that picture that figure that you have to replace the whole parking lot is out of whack.
The equipment's running over the whole thing. Yeah, they drive in, they drive out, they go
Yeah, I see them,
around the
I see them
building.
all over the parking lot. They
Yeah.
don't, they don't discriminate. They go everywhere.
Well, what we're trying,
Heavy equipment loading salt, or is it paved down there? I mean, a truck running up
It
and
is,
down
but
into
that
this.
isn't included in this. That's
It
not the parking lot.
it isn't? Okay.
well, I'm assuming we're including everything that's currently paved in this.
Except down in front of the salt shed.
That was done separately.
That was done out of Public Works budget.
Okay.
Hmm.
But the idea here was that when we put this in, this was gonna be a full replacement of the parking lot because it has worn out and it's no longer cost effective to maintain pieces of it, the whole thing, we'd be better off doing the whole thing. That's what this,
Let me ask a question. I hope I'm not being difficult here.
no, not at all. We've never had a good discussion on this item.
Well, then I fit right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you allocating this money? If you are planning, if you are assuming that in 2072, you are going to have to replace the entire parking lot, and that's the way you got it budgeted, how do you plan for the maintenance that is going to have to take place on a regular basis, even if it's not on a yearly basis?
The main, one of the department heads' responsibilities is to fashion their maintenance and operating budgets such that the asset in question lives long enough to get to the replacement date.
Okay, so you are, so that is factored in.
Well, it should be factored in. It's up to the budget committee and the select board to make sure those departments are budgeting enough annually to keep that asset in proper working order to serve the town until we get to that point. Same thing as the dump truck. It got a 12-year life. We just did one in 10 years because it didn't make it.
Good, then, that satisfies everything.
So, I mean, in this case, Becky should look at, am I doing enough now to take care of that parking lot such that we can, we'll live to,
Get to the 50.
right. Yeah, it's kind of an easier thing to do with a dump truck because it's much shorter life and it's more something we're used to dealing with like that. But if you never change the oil, if you never, grease the truck, it's not going to make it to 12 years. And therefore we were not going to have enough money in the capital reserve to replace it. So that's one of the things that I hope the budget committee, thinks about when they're looking at the operating and maintenance. Are you budgeting too much? Or are you budgeting too little? Well, that asset's got to live so many more years. Can't neglect it.
But in order for you to get that life expectancy out of the asset, you have to be prepared to spend money to maintain it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, when we moved the dump trucks from 10-year life to a 12-year life, it was explicitly said in this meeting to the department head, you have got to do the annual maintenance to make sure we get the extra 2 years out of those trucks. Or this whole discussion back then was for naught. And so where I was going with, you were presenting an alternate way to look at this and say, all right, should the asset we're really replacing be the top coat every 20 years, say, rather than building a new parking lot every 50 years. Otherwise Becky has to make sure that if the top coat needs to be replaced next year, she's got that item in her operating budget.
I mean, should we find out what it costs to just do the top coat?
She said about half. So then you gotta, all right, if she's doing the top coat every 20 years, then and when they do the top coat, they find the binder is in good shape, and all right, we're well on our way to the 50-year expected life. If it's not, then we've got to make some adjustments. Going either way.
So should we have two lines?
Well, that
Because 30,000 meets the threshold.
right. Well, that's where that discussion would go, is if you're going to treat the top coat as the roof of the building, and then the foundation, the binder as the foundation, are you doing both? Keeping in mind, we don't do buildings at all. So we have no provision to replace this building. It's going to live forever with proper maintenance, which may be the case. I don't know. So that's where I was trying to go, Andy, with there's an alternate way to look at it. The way Kyler was bringing it up is that we had never considered before. And should we change path?
Yeah, it's complicated.
Every 20 years have a top coat and every 50 years have a binder. Or you better do that every 60 years. So increments of 20, right? 'Cause you can't replace the binder without replacing the top coat.
Or every 40.
Or every 40.
Which to
Well,
me seems a lot more reasonable.
is that something we want to continue that discussion at a later time? I mean, we've got the food for thought on the table.
Yeah, well, there's no way we're gonna hammer it out.
No,
Right.
I would think a later time. would be
Okay.
good.
So let's go with then what Becky's put on the table for us is a 91,694 replacement cost at the 50-year mark for what we have in place now. That's binder and top coat. And then recognize that we might want to have a discussion of dealing with that item differently.
I think so.
And then Becky in her travels, if it comes up, might ask somebody about it that has more expertise than we might have.
Well, I might even be able to get a representative from Crooked to come right here and talk to us about lifespan.
Had a plan
You
for
want
it.
one-on-one lesson?
Yeah.
I mean, either way, we want to make sure that, I mean, that's a major expenditure, whether it's capital or maintenance. And we want to make sure the town is prepared to do that, particularly on the capital side. You know, we have some major maintenance items in the town that we handle on the annual budget. There's no maintenance reserves that are set up. And the one that comes to mind, we were most recently asked a few years ago about the tires for the grader. You will replace the tires on the grader before the grader is exhausted. They're very expensive, but they're not a capital item. It's just wear and tear of the tires. You replace them.
Plus in 50 years, there may be some major changes, taking into account the plans for the fire barn and so forth.
Right. I mean, if Public Works and Public Safety are not on this site, it may change the use of the parking lot so that this gets considered differently.
There might be flying cars by then and we're not even landing.
Could
on
be
the
next
parking
year,
lot.
right?
That could be next year and
Right.
then the parking lot's gonna last 80 years. So
Right.
Who knows?
There's an optimist for you.
I still can't wait to see how people park those things. Okay. So we're good on the 91,694 for tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then the roof at Mallet Hall
I
and,
need some help on this.
okay, I had,
Because there's nothing there.
Right.
There's nothing there, so.
it's a good deal you negotiated.
Hey, you know.
Well, let me set the stage. I did ask you to do something a little bit different.
Yes.
Becky and I met a week or so ago to talk about the presentation tonight. And one of the things I asked her to look at is the way the plan is set up now, I don't think we have the whole roof in the plan. We just have a piece of the roof. And well, I think in
Done at separate times.
traditionally, we've done pieces of the roof at different times. And is that really the way we're going to do it in the future? And might it eventually, sooner than later, get to the point where enough of the roof needs to be replaced now? Let's just do the whole thing rather than do some now and in 5 years do another piece and then whatever. And you might want to jump in because you have a lot of experience with this roof here, I think. But should we change the way we're doing this roof to the entire roof of the building? And when I did my house, I did
When we did this roof 6 years ago, I know there was one piece that had been replaced probably 10 or 12 years before that we didn't touch because above all, we wanted to save some money. And I think it was a piece of it. I'm not quite sure. And I don't know how many squares it was, but it was, I had it inspected. I had it looked at. I forget who, and it looked fine and it should be, so I would say right now, let's go for the whole roof. And if something happens over there, we'll make some repairs and we'll take it from there. That's what I would do.
Probably the best way to do it is to measure it, figure out how square it is and get a per square price from 3 different roofing companies.
Yeah, but it-
Purpose for this? for
Yeah.
5 years out?
So now that we have totally hijacked your item, would you like it?
No, this is great, because when we had our discussion, I started to look back now. We're only required to keep hard copies of invoices for 6 years. So we don't have those invoices down in the vault anymore. And the Trio software, used to archive previous budgets different, where I can't access them like I can 2020 and forward. So I couldn't even get in to look at who even did this, when did it happen, what was.
I may have some paper, I may still have some paperwork.
No.
And I can have a look.
I asked around and everybody said, ask Jan Peter. All fingers pointed to Jan Peter every time. And so, if you might have some information back then, that would be helpful.
I'll check.
To get to something tonight, I always like to look at that beginning starting point. Okay, what happened in 2020 or whenever we did this piece? Who did it? Are they still around? How much is
And
the
I
square
forgot
footage?
who I had, I think I had Sean Bosmus look at it, at the piece that we did not replace, and we found it in pretty good health at the time, and that was 6 years ago, so.
And then, to
Yeah.
Paul's point, when we talked about, so for instance, we talk about some things we have split out. So the painting of Mallet Hall has been split out over the course of 4 years in the operational budget. And so we're on to the budgeting next year for the final wall back here being done. So that's been manageable to do that in the operation budget, because for the most part, they've been between $10,000 and $14,000. But a roof requires setup. And so if we do them in two separate times, we might be paying an elevated fee because of all the scaffolding and the setup, or they might need to get a boom truck and things like that. So does it in the long term, is it more cost effective to do it in one? Yeah, it's going to be more expensive because you're doing more of a roof. But are we really saving money in the long time because of the setup fees? We might not be paying twice. We're only paying once, to get the equipment here, get the equipment set up, do the whole roof in a one and done shop versus breaking it out over the course of a couple of years. You're going to pay more per se. And you might even get a better price per square footage when you're doing a bigger area too. So,
Sometimes the more square that you're doing, the better price you get.
yes.
So what you're saying is you'd like to come back to us?
Well, I think I need more information. So if
Okay.
Jan Peter
I can
can
look at
come,
it.
then
And I would, I mean, if I were in charge of the roof, I would have somebody inspect it every once in a while and see how long you can keep it going. I mean, it may be,
Anybody have a drone?
Well, if you call somebody for a price, they don't come out, at least on my house. They send you aerial photographs and just.
That's why I asked if anybody's got a drone, we can figure out the,
that's what, well, yeah, they do it by satellite, actually.
Oh, is it satellite? Yeah.
that would be a starting point for us,
Bunch of
because
them.
we don't even know right now,
A
where
bunch of them. that
where
work.
we would be on that
Yeah.
designing it.
Yeah.
So I think to Andy's point, trying to get a couple of real-time quotes right now, for the whole roof might be a better starting point, if that's the direction you want to go with combining it. I mean, if you want to keep it separate,
Yeah,
that's for planning too. I mean,
We
that's a
just don't have
discussion.
any of the other pieces of the roof up there, so it's like.
Right, we only have one piece of the
We only
roof up.
have one
We
piece on
don't,
there, but.
we don't know when the other pieces were, when
Right.
are they due?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Frank Bosmus did the
I think so.
section and
Well, why don't we leave you, Becky, with a homework between now and whenever to kind of look at this as in a holistic way and say, we really should be doing the roof of Mallet Hall to preserve the asset that we have under the roof. And plan with the idea that when we talk about this next year, we're going to talk about the whole roof being done at some time. Now, that may mean you've got a plan operationally that the oldest piece of roof right now has got to wait till the youngest piece catches up, or the youngest piece has got to go early because the oldest piece can't go any longer. And
Or we average somewhere.
somewhere to figure out when is that replacement, that service life ends up, and then start building a relationship with roofers
Mhm.
to figure out how we're going to estimate the whole thing.
So I have a
Does that make
question.
sense?
Yeah, and I have a question. So when you say roof of Mallet Hall, though, we're including the new part with the historic part
Yeah.
One
too,
building, yeah.
right? We're not splitting that
No,
into two
no,
pieces either.
no.
Okay, just want to make sure it's the whole thing.
I think it would, I think it makes, if it were my building, I'd want to be looking, I'd maintain the pieces
Mhm.
as they need maintenance, but I'd want to do the roof once and say, I'm good for 30 or 40 years.
yeah. I built my garage this year, I built my house 12 years before. When I do the roof, I'm gonna do all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing you have, which we found out when we did ours, is that you just wait a little bit of time and the colors don't match.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what, you get the same shingle and it looks like a different color. And that's what drove my wife crazy. So we wound up redoing a large section because we couldn't get color right. So, so that's your homework on that item. And then, for the committee, are we comfortable leaving the cost where it is or just applying an inflation factor to it?
Add an inflation factor.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we know we've got only a piece of the roof.
Yeah.
So we inflate that by whatever
Whatever.
inflation factor we use, we'll use that. Okay. Becky, you were gonna comment on bond rates?
Yeah, so on your sheet also includes bond rates. I talked with the bond bank just this week, and the current rates for a 10-year bond is 3.45%, for a 15-year, 4.35%. 20-year bond, 4.99, and a 30-year bond is at 5.38 currently in this bond cycle.
No, the plan currently has all the bonds over the next 20 years going out as a 20-year bond.
Okay,
And I think we have that at 3%, so we probably should up.
update that.
So if we were to use a 20-year term at 4.99, that would be more correct than what
That
we
is
have now
correct as of last week.
in terms of crystal balling it.
No,
you-
I talked directly to the bond bank last week, so.
Okay. And you're not aware of any new bonds being issued
Nope.
right now?
Nope, and our 2016 road bond is paid off this November. Just,
Yay.
yes, just something when that check goes in the mail, there will be balloons going up in the air. That's $150,000 a year principal payment alone. So we will be happy to send that final one in November, and that one will not be in next year's fiscal budget under debt service.
Okay. Any objections to updating the bond tab to 20 years at 4.99% as Becky has learned?
No, that's,
Do you know where to change that?
is it a bonding plan?
Yeah, yeah, you won't see it. You gotta go all the way down to the bottom.
Okay.
You have to do each line.
Oh,
There's only 20 of them.
yeah. I see.
And the reason for that is it allows us to change the term and the rate by year. So if we were to decide that 1 year was,
Rounds out to 5.
oh, how about that?
I was gonna suggest that, actually, but
Okay. Any other questions for Becky?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have investment updates if you want to hear.
Can you
how
give us a
the
quick one?
investment-
I know we're all dying to hear how that's going.
Okay, so in 3 days, I'll have a better month-to-month comparison because the money was pulled out on the 10th day of December, so I don't yet have that full month out of TD Bank, what it looks like. So I've done some estimation. So in November, when all the money was sitting in TD Bank, we made $1,628 in interest on the 1.1 million that was sitting there. In December, we made about $800 on the remaining 600,000 for what I've estimated for the month, because I prorated it based on what we made. In the investment, we made $1,325 for the course of the 30 days, meaning we made $500 more net CD. I was able to secure a 4-week CD at a 3.45. It was the highest rate they have. So it's perfect right now because I can renew with all the interest. So I just renewed it with the money, the 1325 that we made in that first month. They'll contact me again and I'm just going to hit the renew button with everything in there. But then as we get closer, at a 4-week CD, it's going to be easier if we need to pull money. And by then, I'm going to know what you're looking at. We have 600,000 sitting at TD that's tangible instantly. But this 4-week gives us the option if we need to pull money coming into town meeting, and then we can reevaluate what we have left and see what rates are, but $500 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's gonna add up over time. So it's making more than what it was doing. The interest rate had dropped, what did I say, down to 1.98 in November?
Well, the last update you gave me was like 2.06.
So it's down to like 1.98, because it's under 2 in November, so it continues to tick down at the bank. So this move was the right time to get a good portion of that money into that 3.45 CD right now to continue to earn at a rate that we were earning about a year ago.
So would you recommend we update the plan then to 1.98?
Yeah, that was what it was in November. Yeah, when I gave you the rates back in the summer, it
Right.
was 2 something, and it's dropped below 2. And even though something just came across that said interest rates, they've held interest rates again, I'm not seeing them staying steady at the bank.
Right.
But the CD, it's a lock with that, so.
Okay, and on that, I think probably would like to have you back early next year,
Mhm.
like maybe even as early as September, to go over with you how this investment planning is working from your point of view, how it's working from our point of view, and how do we bring the two things closer together so that the results you get are even better.
Right, and I think by then we'll have, you know, a 7-month, 8-month good track record in comparison of what would we have made? What are we making? And is there more investment option at that point, or do we want to
Okay.
stagger a little bit? You know, now with the 4-week, it gives us that versatility coming in to try it and then come back late summer, beginning of fall to say, how do we improve it? So we're all kind of new in this.
Yeah, and as you and I talked a couple weeks ago, we need to understand there's the fiscal year at June 30th.
Mhm.
But how we interact on this investment, does it have to follow that or can it be different? Because our year doesn't start till September.
Right,
And we're not gonna know till the October meeting how much free cash we have for you to invest. So we have to work out that thing. So there's no gap between you're waiting for us to give you an answer and we haven't started our process yet, so we lose 30, 60 days of
sure.
better interest.
Right.
Okay.
And the other piece too, in looking, there's a couple of capital projects that have been finished, so I need to get figures to you of money we need to return back from some previous capital projects that have been completed. And there's just a little bit left that wasn't spent out of that.
Okay.
It's not a lot, but every bit going back into it makes a difference down the end. And so I will work on getting those numbers so you can be as up to date, because I would like to get those moved out before the end of this fiscal year and back into your reserve account as well. So,
Okay, great.
and clean that piece out and stay on top of just the current projects now that they're completed. One of them, I think, was the 1 ton, which was maybe 3 years ago. That's been long completed, so we need to
Okay.
get that back in. I think one was another dump truck, so, and there's a little bit left to move.
Good.
And that's it. That's financial report.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to pop in a little closer to the beginning of the meeting.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Did you get the interest rate change?
No, was it 1.98?
1.98, and that goes on asset schedule at the top of the page there. Okay. Commissioner Libby. We're doing well.
Guys, come just grab me.
I started working on it.
Okay, I'll plan on making time. Good evening, everybody.
Glad to have you here.
Separate them. There you go. Probably made too long. So I'm new to all this, so everybody will have to bear with me. I didn't get a chance to put it in
like on a spreadsheet on the
That's
computer.
fine.
I've been right out straight with all these snowstorms.
Usually your predecessors schedule a snowstorm on the night that they're supposed to present, so.
Well, I mean, I've been almost every morning in at 4, so doing these roads, but I think I had 93 hours last week.
Wow.
So 80 the week before, 85 week before, and 81 the week before that, and 76.
So you're
week
really
before
hoping
that.
we don't get the storm on Sunday?
No, on the break. I really do.
Okay, well, you've got this sheet, you go down through it that's most comfortable for you, and we
Okay.
will find it in our plan spreadsheet.
The
And,
first one is the F-250 pickup. I called up and got the price for that, through, Roll Forward. That's where we've worked with before. Any question on that? I mean, as far as the, I guess,
No? One up $5,000.
the F-450 is a little bit bigger truck. I mean, it costs more. I got price for the bed and stuff like we have, if we replace it, they're looking at about 90,000 for that.
So we have that listed as a 350 on our spreadsheet.
Think the old one was, and I noticed that on one of them, on mine, it's been changed because this was in my computer.
Cause it was that
What?
2024? Cause we don't have this marked right if that's.
It is
Yeah.
2024,
Yeah.
and I think the last one was a 350. That's why it didn't get changed, so. that-
yeah, so let's,
Should be-
okay. Yeah, I noticed this morning that there was an error on this item in the plan because it was due to be changed in 2024 and that's not been updated. So you're saying that that existing truck is a 450?
It is a 450, F-450 with a dump body, flatbed. And, that, I think that replaced, they had I think a Dodge they replaced, they took out of circuit for replacing that.
Okay, so you're saying, now, we acquired that in 2024?
Yeah, it's a 2023, F-450, but I just started, so I'd say you guys must have got it in 24.
Okay, and then the 75,000 was the acquisition cost? On your sheet right here, it's got
Yeah,
70,
that-
that's what we would have,
That's what it was originally.
and then,
And then Matt's number was the 80,000, and then when I called on it, they told me it's 90,000 now with the bed.
okay, so the 80,000 means what?
The 80,000 was last year's, the cost that Matt had in his computer.
All right, so that doesn't mean anything to us now.
No, it doesn't. That's just showing what the differential is. I used his spreadsheet,
Okay,
so I thought maybe you might want to see what it.
So it's good for comparative purposes and that's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that-
but they
Just to
put a-
compare.
They put a bed on it.
Yeah, this has a dump bed and most trucks you buy just with the chassis.
Yeah.
And then you put just like plow trucks, you buy the chassis and then you put the bed in.
But you said this was a flatbed.
It's a dump flatbed.
Oh, okay.
So it does dump. You
Yeah.
can put rack body sides on it and you can all brush or whatever.
So from the 75,000 to the 80,000, you actually improved the truck?
no, I think he's saying that,
That's just like the 80,000 is just the inflation from when they originally purchased in 24.
Okay.
So 25 is just what the cost of them trucks went up in 25 was 80 grand. Was-
So basically the same truck though.
Yeah, it's the same truck, just the comparison. And then 90 for this year.
So I need to update the year to 2024.
2024,
Yeah.
and then-
all right, yeah, we did have 80,000 in the,
We had the number in the plan, just not the right year.
Just not the
Or
right year.
or the right description of the truck. Still truck 6, right?
Yeah, still truck 6.
It
but
is
yeah.
truck 6, but it's
Yeah.
a F-450.
Yeah, I got it.
On a
Okay.
450. The next line, we have, the Freightliner, dump truck. I called on them and, that's 280. They've gone up quite a bit, in price.
2,000.
Yeah,
280.
yeah, 280.
So that would
And
be
the way
all-
things are going is like, you know, they're talking that them, you know, standard wheel with all your plow gear and stuff is, I think you'd be getting close to 300,000. When I was talking to them, it's like, you know, eventually that's probably what we're gonna be looking at is they're really going through the roof. I can remember when you could buy them for, you know, 160,000 for a full truck. when I
So,
worked for
so can we,
Freeport. It's like crazy, but it's gone through the roof. It's nuts.
so the 280 is fully equipped?
That's fully equipped. That's, the chassis is about, right now it's 171,000.
You don't have to break it down, but that's got the full
That's
truck
the
with
bed.
all the
That's
plow.
Sanding, plow, wing, and all the hydraulics.
Okay, yeah. So all three dump trucks would be that price?
Yeah. If you had to replace each
So
one.
truck 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
So truck 2, we have listed on here as a 2014, which I'm seeing it was replaced in 2025, so I'm guessing that that's a wrong description. For truck
Truck 2 was replaced last year.
it's
So I have that changed to mine, but it's not on yours.
2025.
Yes.
And it's not a freight line.
And it's not a Freightliner, it's a Western Star. Oh, shoot, yeah, I should have caught that today. I didn't even see that. Yeah, it's actually a Western Star.
Oh, all of them?
Nope, just the truck 2.
Is that 2 words or one, Western Star?
It's 2 words.
Yeah. And, that was purchased. We got that last year, brand new in the fall.
But that's 280.
Yeah. And then truck 3 is correct. Truck 3 is a Freightliner dump truck. 2017. Does anybody know about, maybe you know, Andy, the truck 4, I saw that there was no price on it. Is that just because that's the spare and that's going out? That would be the next truck?
When truck 3 is retired, that will become your spare,
Okay,
and truck 4 will be sold.
be sold off like we did.
And then
the
we
old truck
get the
too.
money for truck 4.
Right, yeah, because we sold the old truck 2 this year. I think we got
Yeah.
10,000 for it. So that money goes back to capital budget.
It does.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's cool. That's good.
And the spare is always truck 4? It's always
yeah,
called
it's-
truck 4,
it's always
right?
truck- yeah,
The 1, 2, and 3 are the operating trucks?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 is the
And
operating
then
trucks.
what do we ever do with truck 4? Does it just sit there and rust or do?
No, we use it. We usually that truck has on-spot chains. So that's the one we take out on the dirt roads when it's icy, like the 4 ice storms we've had so
Mhm.
far this year. Rain and dirt roads don't mix.
Yeah.
So that has on spots on it, which is chains that you can hit a button and they fling the chains underneath the tires. So you can have grip on these dirt roads. So we really utilize that a lot on the dirt roads. Even has a special plow on it with big shoes. So it makes it easy to plow the dirt roads.
So we still fully maintain that
Yeah.
vehicle?
And we still use it and I put a sticker on it in September and she's raring to go. Still sands and everything.
But if it dies tomorrow, we have no
Backup, no,
backup, but no funds to replace it.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm new to this, so it's like, is that a common practice? Should that had some type of a line item to, if that truck ever goes down?
Well, we years ago consciously agreed to keep it as a spare, but it would be unfunded for replacement.
Okay,
So if you want to fund something for that truck, you need to do it out of your operating budget.
operating budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no capital funding available for
Available
that unit.
Okay.
Because we felt you didn't really need it.
It is a utilized tool though, I mean,
Yeah.
it's really does a good job.
What kind of shape is?
It's in, the truck itself is in good shape. The body's a little tender, you know, you get up in them age and it's been putting sand and salt out for so many years.
Yeah.
The body's a little tender, could use some welding on it, but it still sands, it still does its job, you know, it's just in pretty rough shape as far as the body goes. Just like all of that truck that we just got rid of, the body was in really tender shape. That was, the truck was running fine. It's just the body. The salt does a number on them. The next thing is the wheel loader 2022. That's fairly new. And I actually, I know I've called and talked to Case, that's a Case loader. And I guess they do a lot of promotional things for municipalities. They work with states and stuff like that. So the price came in lower. So I don't think I missed anything on it. I gave them all the information, but for some reason it was a little lower than last year. So
We won't object to that.
I don't, I mean, I gave him all the information from it and that's what he gave me for a price.
Good.
We like that dealer.
And then the backhoe loader, 2017. The price pretty much stayed the same. There was no didn't increase, no decrease, so.
And you talked to a dealer on that.
Yep, Caterpillar. They actually came out, because I talked to them too about, the excavator and stuff like that, so they wanted to come out and look at it, and, they they don't give you much money for like trade-ins and stuff. I was asking, well, what would it be if we replace that about a trade-in? And they really don't want to give you much money for trade-ins with this stuff. It's like they said, there's no market in the thing. So do you normally, like, we sold the dump truck when I first came here? Is that a common practice here when you retire item, it gets sold versus trading her in? Cause,
Pretty common.
okay.
Whichever,
He didn't seem interested. He even looked at the excavator and he didn't seem interested from Caterpillar.
I wouldn't be interested in that excavator.
Yeah, I
I mean,
thought that
whichever
would
way
be-
gets the best value for the
Yeah,
town.
I think that stuff would have to be put out and sold like we did like we did with the Wheeler, because they don't seem to want to give any money for the trade-in. Nobody really wants to mess with that. The back one, then the wheeled excavator. So that,
So that's gonna get replaced this year,
yes.
or this next plan year.
Yes, so I did an average, I got 3 bids, from 3 different companies and kind of did like 2 of the excavators are about the same, but then I did like, one that's a little bit smaller. Cause they have the flail mower for it. So, the 2 bigger ones, what I found is they have bigger pumps. The little one only has 1 pump on it. And they say that sometimes if you're trying to do like a flail mower and you're trying to move the machine, there's not enough pump to run everything. So you gotta shut the pump, you gotta shut the mower off, move the machine, turn the mower back on. Cause it only has 1 pump. So I found the bigger machines have, like, I looked at a Volvo, the Volvo has 3 separate pumps. So they have a pump that runs the steering and the motivation of the machine. They have a pump that runs the power head to do your brush cutting. And then they have a pump that runs the big hydraulic boom on it. So I kind of did all 3 scenarios. The more expensive is the Volvo. And then I did the middle of the road, which is Case, which Case's price too, they said, if we get our numbers together, they might be able to do even better on that price. They were kind of high, but they do work with municipalities. He said I guess what he's telling me, if he can know what my highest price is or whatever, he could try to match it, from what I'm gathering. And then the Takahauchi that I looked at was the smaller model. It's a smaller price tag, but the only thing I have concern with that is the pump going to be big enough for longevity to run a power head?
Asking for trouble.
Yes.
That's the
you are.
only thing. And we're running the Volvo and the Case are the same, about the same capacity, the same size boom, stick, machine. as what we have now. The Takahauchi is just a little bit smaller, but I kind of wanted to do the 3 Jonders and see.
Well, if you took the, I don't know, how do you pronounce that, the small? one?
Takahauchi?
Yeah, if you took that out of the equation,
Yeah.
would that change your number any?
Maybe a little bit. They're all in $200,000 range, so they're like 202, 245, and 232. So I kind of took an average of them 3
Yeah.
is how I got the,
Should we use the middle one?
so.
232?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you
So would you
want,
do would you want to do the 235, which is the Volvo? I'm pretty sure.
it sounds like the one with the single pump is, you're one day gonna regret that.
And that's what and from talking to the other bigger boys, that's what they're the ones that tell me, give me a you can do that and you probably can make it work.
Just the way you say it, you can do it.
But the long,
But you don't wanna.
getting a long shelf life out of
Be
it.
in town when you do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and shelf life, I mean, we
Shelf
want this to
life.
last a long time.
exactly.
Where would you get the Volvo?
The Volvo is Chadwick Bay Ross, right in Westbrook.
Yeah.
And then the Beauregard case, that's in, I think it's Scarborough's Payne Road, so I think it's, I mean, not Payne Road, Pleasant Hill,
No,
Road-
that's Scarborough.
Scarborough.
Yeah.
And I probably could have got a price from Cat too, but I know the Cats are really expensive. And somebody told me that they're a bigger machine. They're a lot bigger than these mid-sized ones that I was looking at. They only offer one machine and it's bigger than for what we really need. So that's why I didn't get that price. I just had them come out and look at the backhoe and they did look at our excavator. So the only one thing I do is at Beauregard, he did the mulching head with it. I called him today. He was gonna try to separate it out. So it's actually 277, they said, but with the power head. And, so I kind of took, 30,000 off that for the power head, for the flail mower, for doing the roadsides, because you guys have that in 2 different line items. So that's why I separated it. I tried to separate it out, but he may give me a copy of that tomorrow if you guys wanted it, but.
Yeah, we looked at it, we look at it as 2 separate items.
Right.
So you may replace one without the other at some time in the future.
Yeah,
So that's why
that's
it's
why you split it.
2 separate
Yeah,
assets.
he didn't realize that. and He gave me one and then he said, I'll send you out the separate. He never did. I didn't see it from today, so.
So
Um, For me, the machine that I went and looked at these machines and the Volvo is kind of your top of the line. That's like the Cadillac. And I was surprised the price came in, pretty reasonable for that machine. It's, it's my motor head.
At least we know you did it.
Yeah, I don't know why, I'm showing, it should be in this pile. But I got it more, right here. So Chadwick Bay Ross is the 232 500. And that machine's the one that has the 3 pumps. That one has a pump that runs every individual thing. So if you're moving the machine, you're not asking anything from that pump that runs the power head. Or if you're moving the stick or your boom, you're not asking anything from that power head while you're working it. So I think the longevity of that machine is, you're gonna get a lot more life out of it versus, like that little.
And that's the Volvo, right?
And that's the Volvo, and that's Chadwick Bay Ross.
Yeah.
And, the next contender I'd say would be the case. And like you said, if we had to, he probably could, work the numbers if,
Well, so let's take this, I mean, unless somebody objects, let's take the small one off the table
Yeah.
from a planning.
yeah.
then let's, then I would suggest from a planning standpoint.
Yep.
Go with the Volvo. If you got the Volvo, you would not be unhappy.
No,
You could meet the
That's-
needs. Because-
that machine compares to the 311 that we have now. The boom size, the hydraulic pumps and everything is a more high grade. They're more of a top shelf excavator.
All right, so why don't we go that way from a planning standpoint? Now, when
Okay,
you actually go to get the machine next year, you're gonna have to go to competitive bid by town policy.
Yep.
And you're gonna wind up with whoever meets the competitive bidding
Bid.
process.
that's where, like the gentleman that I was talking to for Beauregard, that's when he'll be able to sharpen his pencil. And he might, and that's a good machine. The case is comparable to the Volvo. The Volvo is a little bit higher end than the case, but we definitely could do the same thing with the case.
But if we,
It's got a big pump.
but if we plan on what you're now seeing as the Volvo
Right.
price, that gives you, there's enough in the plan to cover whatever the winning bidder is when you actually go to do the
Okay.
purchase, right?
Yep.
And we get the machine the town needs to do the work.
Right,
And from a standpoint, I don't think the committee cares which machine you get, as long as it fits
Meets
in the
the
plan
criteria.
and which,
meets spec.
meets
the spec.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense, everything?
You have any experience in writing a competitive request for bid?
I don't know, no, I've never done one, so I'm sure that,
When that time comes, you're gonna need some help.
yeah. I know some of the classes, I go, don't they even, sometimes it's good to have a lawyer, if you're making a contract like that, is let the lawyer look at it before.
It's a very good idea. You can really narrow the scope of your descriptions. I mean, if you really wanted to get nasty about it, and I've done it.
We could tell.
Yeah.
You can narrow the description so, you can nail it down so that only one
Really matches,
manufacturer matches it.
which it'd probably be that Volvo, because they have the 3 pumps, and I don't think the case does.
Well, that would be a good argument too.
There are more than one Volvo dealers in the state. I mean, you can go to Augusta as well for
For a Volvo,
Volvos,
yep,
But.
and they're
I mean,
pretty
even
good.
Boris, it says budget number. When they bid, they're gonna sharpen their pencil.
Right.
so, right, and he told me that today. The only thing I didn't get from him was I wanted the power head separate,
Yeah.
so I had the 2 different prices, and
Yeah, when you do it, you can tell them that you're talking to somebody else. You can name them.
All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna go into that right.
We bought a lot of Volvo.
Volvo's a good rig. I mean, out in the market, if you go like at a lot of these high-end excavation companies, they're running Volvos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Volvo is a good truck. I mean, we ran, the company I worked with, we ran Volvos all the time.
Yeah,
And we bought a lot of them. And we did business with the outfit in Augusta, and they were pretty good.
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's another thing I kind of looked at, the service departments. I did look at a smaller excavator, Davalon. And I went to their shop and they have no mechanic stuff in the shop. They have a boat and a paving machine. I'm like, where's your service? Oh, well, we don't have one right now. But we're looking for a good mechanic to bring in house. I said, yeah.
Hmm.
And then I went out to check the machine out and it has a button to turn your mower on and it shuts off in a minute. I said, it shuts off in a minute? Well, yeah, because that cycle's for a hammer and they only want you to run a hammer for a minute. I'm like, why would you use the same cycle? I said I threw that one out. I'm like, that ain't gonna work for us. Every minute you'd be hitting the button twice, he says, to turn the power head back on. I said, that's a joke. So, and they didn't have a good service department. So I didn't even consider that one. But
Okay.
These ones have good service departments.
So from a planning standpoint, right now, we'll use the 232,500.
Yep,
And then, you'll follow the town process for bidding when
Yep.
you get that, and Kyler's gonna help you in the background, write your spec.
Right, architectural specs.
does
Oh,
anybody have any suggestions on somebody that's done that? I mean, everything I'm doing, I'm kind of learning on my own as I go, so.
I did a lot of it.
So maybe I can use.
Yeah, I can talk.
Yeah, maybe you can help me through that, process. I've never done one, so.
Okay, next is the flail mower attachment for the
Yes.
excavator?
Yep. And they've gone up a little bit on them. Matt had 40,000 and, I talked to them and they figured for setup and stuff like that, you should figure about 44,000. That's getting it all set up on whatever we just choose for a machine. Cost of buying it and putting the flail mower on it.
So does that,
And
if you get both of them new at the same time?
Yeah.
Does that save you something? Because you don't have all the setup in it? The way, excuse me.
We'd have to get back to you on that. I didn't think to ask that question.
No, I mean,
Well, I know this guy, he bidded it, right together but the other guys always did it separate. So they gave me two different scenarios.
yeah, but the way you just said that, I got the picture in my mind that if you had a machine
Yeah,
and you went out and purchased the flail mower, then somebody's got to come help you set it up
Set
to
it
that
up.
machine. If you bought the two together,
you probably could save some costs.
you shouldn't have to pay all this setup stuff
Right.
to get the mower on the machine.
Yep.
They should know how to, they should
So
couple
if that
together.
is through, like, say that does come through and say we got it for 30,000, is that one of them things like what we did when we sold the truck? We just give the money back to the capital budget? If there's
Yes.
extra, you guys just take the extra back?
Oh, don't make it sound so.
No.
Well, if you don't spend, town meeting, we're planning.
Yep.
And we're making a recommendation to the budget committee in total for the plan. Town meeting will decide what the town is willing to appropriate.
Okay,
That may or may, it usually is what we recommend.
okay,
Doesn't have to be.
right.
And it'll be in a vote up to X. And so you can go out and bid and you hopefully get successful bidding process that gets you something below what we planned.
Planned, yeah,
And what you don't use to get the item that we've agreed on comes back to the capital budget to be, or capital planning committee to be used for the other capital
Other
items in the
capital.
future. So
That's
it'll
cool.
come back to you eventually.
Yep.
So the mower we said was 44.
Yep.
And that, at least your process looks like it's gonna be matched to the machine.
Yes,
And I know we had talked about when that was first brought up, there was a smaller mower and then there was a larger mower. And it seemed like the larger mower with more versatility in how the arm worked
Yep.
would be better suited for the types of things that we do,
yeah,
particularly where you're mowing in ditches that are
right.
going both ways.
I ran one for years at Freeport and you want that to be able to tip it up and do your back slope, or if you
Right.
want to, you tip down and do your in slope of your
Mhm.
thing. So you need
Yeah,
that
so,
versatility to do that, so. I did see there's a lot of different prices on different items. I think you had originally in there as a forestry head, a mulching head. That, I don't think that's really good fit for Pownell. So it's like, to me, it's either should be a flail mower or they have a rotary mower, one of the two. I don't know who I talked to about that, but I did notice you guys have it as a mulching head. I priced that, mulching heads are really expensive. If you break them, they're big money to fix. And if you got somebody that's not very as skilled as somebody else gets in that thing, because you want him to go do some roadside mowing and he gets into a stone wall or somebody's property pen, or you can get into some big money on a mulching head. And I think if most flail mowers will take up to like something like, look at anywhere from 6 to 10 inch trees. I wouldn't even do that. I would do like 3 to 4 inch, and then anything bigger than 4 inch, so you're not beating up your equipment, just go cut it with a chainsaw. Do all the little stuff, so you're not beating up your machine, and then take the bigger stuff down. So if the town purchased a forestry head, which is, they consider a mulching head, you're gonna use that the first year and cut all the big trees down, because it's only made for trees. And then we're still gonna be renting a machine to do the roadside mowing and stuff. So For me, for our town, I think either a flail mower or one of them rotary mowers is a better setup on one of these.
Matt had it as a flail mower.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the plan as a
One of
flail.
the things that I was looking at, paper I had, it said mulching head on one of the spreadsheets, and I said, I don't think that's really a good fit for Pownell. And that's the most expensive head. So if you get into a flail mower or a rotary mower, you kind of, the maintenance is different and.
I think you've already convinced the committee that we don't need that.
Yeah. So
The most expensive head, and
Yeah.
we're not gonna use it very much.
I ran a flail mower for years and them takes some maintenance day to day. And I'm kind of been looking into numbers for that, but I also been looking into the rotary motor mowers that will do grass, will cut up to 6-inch trees, which I wouldn't even wanna do that, but the blades are bigger, almost like a bush hog. And you can sharpen them and there's less maintenance to it. So I'm kind of looking at them
Well, the whole idea here was that going to the wheeled machine and the flail mower,
to be able to do the roadsides.
there would be a return on investment that made sense.
Yeah.
Even though together they were gonna cost more than what we have in
Right.
place now.
Yeah.
But the return, because we're not renting equipment,
Nope,
we're not,
buying a trailer,
we don't have a trailer,
yeah,
Just going back and forth.
man hours, all that, the begging and borrowing for trailering
Yeah.
and, the fact that we're not confined to a 2-week rental window when we have to do the
yeah.
road
it's-
mowing.
It's like, you gotta go.
There was a lot, yeah, there was a lot of things that went into
Looking at that process.
looking at these two items that made sense because it was the Pownell's needs and this provided the best return on investment to meet those needs.
Right,
So
yeah.
from the committee standpoint, that's how this got there.
Well, I was asking that too, say there's a $10,000 difference from a flail to a rotary. That's why I was asking, does the money go back? Because if I can pick up a rotary mower for $10,000 cheaper than a flail, and that's gonna do the same job, that if I said 40, maybe I can give 10 grand back to the town by buying that head for it.
We would not look adversely to that
Yeah,
action on your
you know what I
part.
mean?
No, but make sure it's gonna do what you want it to do.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think it will. I really think that all the information I'm getting, I think that it will do exactly what we want to do and mow the sides beautiful, But,
I mean, you have experience with both.
yeah,
You have more experience than the person who presented this. So I would say, use your experience to meet the needs of the town. And
Right.
if you,
and everybody I've talked to, the professionals have all said that exactly what I'm saying is really a good fit for Pownell, versus,
well, if you get the equipment that best fits the needs of the town of Pownell
yeah,
and you save considerable capital budget in doing that, when you next meet with us, there will be smiles on our face. And somebody might even bring in a chocolate chip cookie or something.
yeah. I make that all the time for my group.
But this would give you enough
That would give me
from a
enough to,
planning perspective to go
Yeah,
into
what
the
we need.
competitive bidding process to
Yeah.
get what Pownell needs to
Needs.
meet the service to the taxpayer.
definitely.
You got all that?
I
And
got it.
just so you know, I like chocolate.
They like them in the town hall and they like them in public works, so. I just made, for that last time, I made strawberry cupcakes and I made banana muffins for Sunday.
And let the record show that the committee did not get any muffins. at
Oh,
all.
yeah, there's still more down in my container downstairs.
You had your chance.
I know, I should have brought them up here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, motor
So
grader.
The motor grader, I called that and, I didn't think it, went up too much. I thought it would go crazy, but, 381, that's from, John Deere.
And that's
Actually
talking
finally
to,
got back
that's
to me
talking to
today.
John Deere, right?
Yeah, that's talking to John Deere. And I used to be Nortrack, but I think now it's. I think that, Yeah, right there. Yeah, it's United now. It used to be Nortrack in Westbrook. Now it's United. They must have been bought out. But, that's what they gave me is 381. Right on the nose
Okay.
for replacement of that.
Sweetser Road Bridge.
Yeah, so I called the lumber company. I asked Matt, I said, how did he do it? And he said, you just call. I went down, I measured it. It's a 28 by 28 long by 20 feet wide. He, last time, I guess, got the price for their 4x6s stood on end for the decking on that. So I called up and, Home Depot, they gave me the $13,000 for the material. Matt did suggest that I could get, they have, I guess, a bridge guru at DOT, and he'll come out and he'll inspect bridges. And he'll give you his viewpoint of when he thinks the deck needs to be done. Can we go a little bit longer on it? So I'm thinking I'm gonna reach out to them and see if I can get the bridge guru from DOT to come out and kind of give me, I mean, I've never dealt with bridges, so
They inspect it yearly.
they do.
Yeah.
Do they send us a report?
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, so,
I probably have 2 or 3 of them.
okay. I've looked through the office to find
Via
this stuff, I
email.
can't find it.
He typically emails it out.
Emails it out. I'm gonna still reach out so I can maybe get a little more knowledge in that aspect on how that works, and I really don't know the hardware that takes to secure them down, if there's special hardware or not, so,
Well, is the 13,000 just the materials from Home Depot or is there?
yeah, that is just the material
So
right now.
what-
That's what Matt did. I asked him what he did and that's what he did. So I did that. I didn't get the time to get like the guru to come out and look at it. I mean, I can still do that and find out.
Well, here's my concern going forward. I can't remember how far in the future this is, but,
I had that on my other graph. I should have brought it.
but if that's just the material and if the
Yeah.
material is 30% of the cost of the project, then we've missed a big piece. If it's 90% of the project,
Is it maybe
So we're
because in the past, the
4 years
Public
out.
Works replaced it? That's what I kind of heard. Would have the Public Works
Yeah.
replaced that decking on their own?
What,
So,
drawing from my memory of the last report from the state inspector, everything underneath the beams and everything were in fantastic shape.
Yeah, they said that.
We did some work to the foundations on either side.
they look good. When I was inspecting them today, the concrete looks fairly new. It's not like,
All those are granite with concrete
Yeah.
in between. And the only thing that we would have to do is the decking.
that's
So
what Matt said to me.
And I can't give you a firm price, but you're gonna have probably close to $1,000 in bridge spikes to spike them down.
Okay, so that's how they're attached. It was covered with snow today, so I could see the ends of them and I could measure and see how many, there was 127 timbers going across it. They're standing on end, but I couldn't see what it was being held down by. So
so on your list for homework is to
Yep.
kind of get a better handle on what is really the cost of this project. So you've got more materials that haven't been included here. We know that. The other thing I would say, and then, well, you can dig into that. You're gonna get the inspection sometime
Right,
before we meet again.
yep,
And then the other thing is to ask Becky, when you go to do this project, you're gonna do it with road crew, right?
Yep.
So is their labor going to be part of the construction cost of this project?
right.
So that's missing from here as well.
And I know things have changed too. It's like, what's the liability? I know back in the day, like they fixed the Poland Road Bridge and it was just like Daryl Thurber went up and did it. And kind of like on his own, and I thought there's some legality there for us to do some of that stuff.
Well, there is because that's a state-owned bridge,
Okay,
but Sweetser.
Sweetser Road is
Bridge
different?
Is town-owned.
okay,
So you are covered underneath the
right.
one.
I mean, I've never
floodplain
replaced the
act.
deck on a bridge, but that's why I was wanting to look for some, should I still get a price from maybe, like Matt said, maybe get a price from like CPM, somebody that does bridges? Would it still be advised to get a price on what it would be if a company did it and then look into what it would be for us to do it?
With it 4 years out, I would think that that would be, I mean, just to compare.
Yeah.
To see?
None of us know.
That's what I was thinking. I called CPM today and I called Reed and nobody gave me any, they didn't get back to me. Cause I was hoping to have kind of some numbers there too.
Yeah,
You know.
you're gonna have to make a decision as the road commissioner.
Yep,
Do you and your team have the expertise to rebuild this bridge?
yeah,
Because it's a town-owned bridge, the town assumes the
Right.
liability
That's
for
what I'm
your
wondering.
workmanship and decisions.
and
Or,
I've never done one, so,
That is all hemlock. It is not pressure treated.
okay.
So I'd get a price from
Machinos,
Machine-
Machinos,
Before they retire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Machinos and
Hmm.
get a price somewhere for bridge spikes. I don't,
I was kind of,
even though you've.
I was
never
asking
replaced
questions,
them,
but, and I
don't
wanted to
think
get
it's-
more information
Right.
for.
I don't
before
think
tonight.
it's that tech.
It's not rocket science.
just bridge science.
But so you're spiking that down into, I didn't climb underneath it.
There's steel I-beams underneath
But with wood on them?
with wood on top of them.
Okay, and then the spikes go into that
Yes.
wood runner along the steel.
Yeah, but we're not gonna tell you how to exercise the town's liability here.
Okay,
Because it's your skill set and
Right.
the decision of the town to decide who and how it gets done.
right. And that's where I think I get the bridge guru from DOT and I think I can get some more insight about, maybe he'll say liability, you really shouldn't be doing it as a town. That should be done by somebody that's licensed, insured or whatever. So I need more information.
But I think this committee would rather know the answer to that question,
Yeah,
like 4 years out from the bridge redo than, it's next year
Next
and
year,
now
yeah.
it's, $100,000 to do it and we tell
Exactly.
you,
and that's what I was
we didn't
thinking
plan for
too.
that.
That's why I was reaching out to CMP and Reed, because I wanted to have some other information before
I mean, if it's a
Bring it back.
capability that you and your team can quickly acquire
yeah,
and do it properly, then
Yeah.
that's a decision you have to make. But if it's a capability that
I've never done it, so that's,
you're learning, on the site, you and the select board will have to make that decision, not this committee, but
Right.
we want to know, based on how to do it properly, what should we be planning for from a cost perspective to
Right.
protect the town there?
It's a good idea to get a
Tell you
quote
what,
from
give you
somebody else as
That,
well.
and only charge a consultant fee of 40,000.
yeah, there you go, right? Yeah, I just know things are expensive, and when I saw 11,000, and I kind of reached out to Matt, and I said, I don't know, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable pulling that apart, and it's like, there's a lot, like, you're pulling the boards up, you're gonna have to have special, something underneath, so you're not falling down into the river, I'm sure
Preferable, you wouldn't, well,
safety equipment that we don't have. So it's like, it's not 1965 anymore. And there's a lot of liability where if somebody, they stepped wrong because we pulled the boards out and they went down into the river, onto the rocks, that's quite a liability,
well, I think this,
I'd like to get more.
we'll take what
numbers.
you've got here, but I think
Right.
this conversation says
We need more information.
you need to get more information and be comfortable with, is this a project that the town does or this the town hires out?
Yeah.
And then if that changes the way we have to plan for it, we need to discuss that, but
yeah.
I don't think we would ask you to, we would restrict your resources such that you had to do something that was outside your areas, outside your skill set and
Right.
expertise.
Yep, that makes sense to me. And like I said, I'm gonna get more information on it. I've been flat out, even today, I just ate a sandwich finally since.
There's
this
cupcakes
morning.
down there, but he's not.
I didn't even make it to have a cupcake or a muffin today. I was ready at office all.
The only thing that wasn't on your list that's on this list is the Poland Range Road multi-plate.
Oh, I
don't know
didn't
if we
see
need-
that. I'll have to get prices on it. That's that big culvert, right, on Poland Range Road?
That's 50 years out, 40 years out.
55,
Yeah,
33 years, 2022, it was down 33 years.
It's a
I
while.
don't- 30.
I didn't have that on
33
this
years.
list, so that's why I didn't even see it. I'll have to get numbers for that then. I'll have
yeah, if
to
you
call
can
and
get
speak.
back to us with
Yep.
something on that.
But that's the only
What's
thing.
it saying right now for, amount?
138,591.
That was the actual we did in that year, right?
Yeah.
That's what it cost that year when it was.
Yeah.
No, that was replacement cost last year. So
Okay.
actual that year, where would that be?
Does anybody know who put that in originally? Do you know, Andy?
That
The
was,
company that would have.
it was, it was a bid price that came in well below what we had in the plan.
Yeah.
It surprised us.
That's all we know.
That's all you
That's all
know.
I can remember. yeah.
You don't remember, Andy? Who
I
could
don't
reach-
remember.
I wouldn't mind reaching out to the same company that did it and have them, give me a new cost.
Becky might have it.
You might.
That's
I'll
really
check.
new.
Yeah, Becky would
Within
have been
6
here.
years,
Yeah,
so-
Becky would have been here.
Yeah.
Reach out to her and see if she knows, or maybe Matt knows too. If I catch up with him, I'll ask him if he knows who the vendor was that did that.
But that was put a big smile on everybody's face, like, oh my gosh, that's so much lower than what we had.
Nothing
Plan-
else comes to
plan-
mind.
Right. Any other questions for Dan? I've gotten through all the items, right?
Good start.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very good. Thank you very much for coming in.
I'm just learning everything.
Good job.
Next thing is the regular budget.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Do we want to go through the Keith Peters?
Yeah, let's,
Over here.
can you just read it out to everybody? Because it came, we got an email from Chief Peters about some homework he had to provide us. And Teresa's got my copy and is gonna update the plan, but just read it out.
So the communications upgrade is at 88,031 right now. He's giving us a price of 123. The repeater system. Repeater system is at 17,400. He's giving us 27,000. Exhaust system. 14 now, going to 15. Extrication equipment, 45 now, 47,250.
Couple of those items are going up pretty,
The repeater
Strong.
system and, yeah, the repeater system's going up 10,000 and the communications upgrade is, where'd that one go? That's going up a good chunk, 88 to 123. Big,
yeah, that's
that's a huge jump.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
the
getting close to-
technology piece? Is that the one that's?
I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but that's like almost a 50% increase. And we may have some questions on that one.
Yeah. Do you want me to update any of these?
Let's update them and then I'll make a note.
Okay.
We'll have to go back and I may just send him an email with some questions. We need information as to why.
Clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find it. That's right, I'll go get some numbers.
Okay.
So how often do you meet?
We meet every month. We'll meet again the last Wednesday in February. If we could have any updates by then,
Okay,
that'd be great. And then we present the following week to the budget committee. Thank you.
okay. All right, sounds good.
Thanks for coming in and hope you get some rest.
I'm headed there right now.
Good.
You can bring cupcakes next time.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Good night.
You too.
as expected on this meeting each year, we're running longer than we like to, let's skip the review, the inflation analysis, although as Teresa has been updating, that has updated as well. All the business, we just talked about the update from Jesse, so Teresa's getting that in there. The other old business is the subcommittee review of the user friendliness of the spreadsheet. And my suggestion is that it's not urgent that we have that full discussion right now, I don't think. But I would welcome any quick feedback that anybody has to anything that they reviewed, and then plan for a full discussion as soon as we have some time.
I received everything and I'm thankful for that. I haven't had a lot of time to play with it.
Say the
Yeah.
same thing.
Everybody's been shoveling snow, I know.
Well, between shoveling snow and funerals, I've been pretty busy.
Yeah.
But,
I shovel snow, I didn't.
I am eager to sit down and play with it with the instruction.
Yeah, you need everything like side by side.
Yeah.
like-
I read it quickly and I downloaded it actually on my computer. So
Okay.
that's where
Okay.
so I'm there.
You got further than I
Sort
did.
of.
I did download,
Do that. I have
but
it
it's on a thumb.
Okay. All right, so did you have a chance to look at it?
Briefly, I need to definitely look at it more extensively. I don't have any comments to make at this point because I don't think anything that I'll provide will be very helpful. But yeah.
But I think right now, the first thing is the documentation, is to read that, does it,
The
is
how
it,
it works
Strong,
seemed very in-depth.
right.
Yeah, just when you just showed us it here, it seemed like it all made sense.
yeah,
But it would be interesting to look at the spreadsheet, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the question.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, the question is on that documentation. Does it make sense to you if you read it? I mean, you don't have to do the Excel stuff, but is it understandable? Is it articulate enough that you could then, hey, I've read this, I understand what it's saying, I could go over here and do something with it. And then maybe what you have to do is read it and then go over there and see if you
That's
can.
what I have.
All right, that's what I would have to do. So, but anyway, so I was just curious as to any quick feedback, and Kyler, you weren't here for that discussion, but at first they nominated you to do this and I forced them to take it on.
With the spreadsheet?
Yeah. Well, I want to say that I extended my Excel, which I wasn't really planning on, Excel and Word. And so I paid another $100 to get, I was gonna get the cheap Word for free, and then I thought, well, if I have to get Excel to look at it, I might as well do it for another year.
Might as well get the whole office. with it.
Yeah. Okay, so then, let's save that discussion for later, and it may, well, we'll see whether we have it next meeting or after that, because next meeting, we will be busy. We need to nail down the inflation assumption. We'll look at that, update. We will have to nail down the appropriation for years 1 through 5. Year 5 is the key, if you remember, because that then sets the stage for everything through year 20. And then it's just a question, how do we get from year 1 to year 5 in a way that the taxpayers can absorb? And then what I'm hoping to have is a draft of the budget committee presentation. It may have some holes in it because we as a committee have not made our decisions, but enough that we could run it by you folks here, because the next week I'll be presenting to the budget committee, to Andy, and his friends for in that group, what we're looking for and why we're looking for that. And so I'll probably follow the layout that was used last year that seemed to go over okay. But I would like and welcome your feedback onto that PowerPoint at that time. So that, for me, that's the more fun meeting when we get to play games with
Yeah.
the appropriation and how things fit. The big thing we need to watch for is this has gone really smooth this year as compared to some years in the past. The question is, does it work for the town? I mean, we're getting, it'll work for the department heads, but does does the consequence of what works for them work for the taxpayer? And it's up to us to find that bridge there, which may mean we may have to push back at somebody, or we may say this all works really well. Don't know. And again, when we look at this next week, it's just the place to start the discussion. I always worry about the numbers look like they're very precise, and we all know they're not. It's just a place where, to help us, where should we start the discussion? And if it doesn't make sense, then that's fine. We go with where, that's why we're the people and it's the machine. We make the informed judgments.
A calendar question, the second meeting in March is scheduled for March 9, which is a Monday.
That's the budget committee presentation.
Okay.
The, regular meeting will be the last Wednesday in March. And that will, we should be to the point where we're wrapping up our work
Right.
on the plan, maybe even making the gold version at that point and talking about, and my thought was, we had talked to Chief Peters about doing a field trip to kind of look at some of this big equipment that we're trying to fund. We should go see it, get familiar with it. Maybe we should do that in like April when it's warm
Yeah.
and we're not, right, we're not in the snow and we're not getting rushed into getting a new year started in September.
Yeah, not this Monday morning.
Right.
Let me just say that this spreadsheet gives us a much closer educated guess. than
I
we
hope it
had
does, yeah.
15 years ago.
Well, yeah, I remember what that was like. So,
A much closer.
yeah, it's a place to start.
So 20 grand at this.
Right. Well, hopefully it's a place to start the discussion. And I remember last year, we had a really good discussion, all around the table of how to get through that what if session. And, I thought that was probably the best discussion we've had in all the years that we've been doing this with that spreadsheet. So hopefully we'll,
But Andy, one thing on the spreadsheet, 15 years ago, Jim started this committee.
Yeah.
And he started it from scratch, from nothing.
Oh, I know.
He didn't realize what a spreadsheet was at the time. So, I mean,
This gives us a much
Yeah.
closer.
yeah,
oh, there was a
Educated
spread,
guess.
there was a spreadsheet from back then.
it could have been.
But it was a spreadsheet and each cell was typed in individually.
Oh,
There were
absolutely.
no formulas in it, 'cause
Making together.
there was no formulas in it, so it was kind of easy to understand. That's what somebody typed in, because I started with that spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Created.
And it's evolved, so,
But-
so, go
But
ahead.
at least he had the thought that a committee like this with the purpose of the committee was needed.
Mhm.
And I think
Oh,
that's,
no, and I'm not trying to take anything
Yeah.
away from anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this spreadsheet gives us a much.
oh, absolutely. It has really grown and it's much more sophisticated.
Okay. So with that, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you very much. Appreciate your